Hello everyone. Today we're going to look at the underlying causes of the phenomenon in which some women like sex and others don't like sex. First of all, whether you like sex or don't like sex is an emotion. It's how your mind feels about the sexual information that comes in through your sensory organs. Before we get into that, it's important to note that liking sex doesn't necessarily mean that you have a high sex drive. A woman with a high sex drive will have constant thoughts of sex and a desire to have sex. But liking sex means that even if you don't normally have thoughts of sex and don't have a desire, you don't think negatively about sex and you feel positive about the sensations and feelings when you have sex. Women who like sex are considered to have a highly developed sensory systems. This means that they have sensitive sensory systems that come into play when they have sex. But these sensory systems are not selectively enhanced only when they have sex. They are actually sensitive across the board. Their sight, hearing, touch, smell, and taste all take in more information in a more subtle way than the average woman. But what happens when this perceived information makes them feel uncomfortable? That means you are more stressed and overwhelmed than the average woman. So if you are a sex-loving woman, it's important to keep your senses as positive as possible, even outside of sex. You need to make an effort to see and hear nice things and eat good foods whenever possible. Now, does this mean that women who dislike sex have dull sensory systems and poor sexual functioning? No. If they had dull sensory systems and poor sexual functioning, they would not either like or dislike sex. Then why do some women dislike sex? It's because the perception of sex in their sensory organs is connected to psychological wounds. Actually, it's more likely that they have developed sensory systems like women who like sex, but the information of sex that they receive so sensitively is connected to psychological wounds, and they feel displeased instead of pleased. Women who are overly averse to sex for whatever reason have deep wounds at play and a strong desire to repair it, so they have a strong desire to avoid the perception of sexual information in their sensory organs and to entertain their sensory organs with something else. For example, overly indulging in going to restaurants, listening to ASMR, shopping, traveling, or working hard to improve appearance are all that come from the desire to please the senses. And the root cause is deep psychological wounds that are operating in the unconscious. In cases like this, along with healing the wounds, they need to practice transforming their ideas and values about sex. Women who like sex and women who don't are the most different in how their minds work. It's worth noting that sexual desire is not a matter of the sensory systems themselves, so we shouldn't associate liking or disliking sex with sexual desire.